Hey everybody, my name is Dave Reynolds and welcome to AGF, Amazing Guitars Friday, a place where we talk about everything guitar related, from the guitars themselves to the players, the performers, composers, the history of the guitar, everything we can possibly imagine we're going to talk about on Fridays. And I'm trying to keep these succinct, concise, short, fun, entertaining, just a place where you can pop in on Fridays for a few minutes and have some fun, talk about guitars. So let's talk about this guitar right out of the block. This is a guitar that I bought. It's an ES335 TD-CRR, and I know that's a lot to say. The ES part of it is interesting to me. That means electric Spanish. In 1936, Charlie Christian got an ES150. The ES was stuck on there to differentiate these guitars from the Hawaiian lap steel guitars, which were very popular at the time. So this would just make you understand that the ES guitar was to be played in this fashion. Hold it up against your body like the Spanish guitar, as opposed to the lap steel. That's very interesting to me. So that's the ES part. The 335 refers to the body type. And you can look some of these up and see the differences between the different ESs. Certainly the 150 was very different from this guitar, and the 175 is a really popular guitar. You'll recognize it most likely if you aren't already familiar with it. And one of the reasons for this guitar was to get something that would be a little bit better with feedback, something that would be a little more of a rocking guitar. The 175 had some issues, I think, when it came to trying to use it as a rock guitar, and I know Steve Howe used it with Yes. This guitar has a solid piece of wood that goes all the way through the center of the guitar, giving it a really good solid foundation. And it's got these super hot pickups in it. We'll talk about that in a second. So we've got the ES335 piece down. The TD is the thin line body structure as opposed to some of the really deep bodies like the 175. This guitar has a narrow neck on it, easy to play, easy to get your fingers around it, easy to get way up on the neck, not too long, perfect. The CRR stands for Country Rock Regular, as opposed to another line of guitars that came out at the same time that were called CRS, Country Rock Stereo. So this guitar was built in 1979. There were only 300 made, and Gibson paid meticulous attention to making sure that these guitars were built well. And they were. Kalamazoo, Michigan. So if we talk about the guitar a little bit, these hot pickups here, I've got the name of Dirty Fingers, Dirty Finger pickups, and they've got these individual poles in them that you can take a screwdriver and adjust, so you can get a really versatile sound out of these pickups. You've got the coil tap switch here, so you could get a single coil as opposed to a double coil. You've got your standard pickup selector switch here. You've got your volume and tone. And the only thing that's not stock on here anymore is the tailpiece. And I have a picture of it online here. I don't know if you can see it, but you can look it up. The original tailpiece had these fine tuners on it. And I had this guitar worked on one time, and I think it got left with whoever the guy was that worked on the guitar. So I don't have that anymore. But that's the only thing. Guitar plays great. I'm very happy with it. But to restore it to its 100% original stock form, I would have to get that tailpiece back. So anyway, I think that covers the guitar. We talked a little bit about the pickups. I mean, it's meant to be a high-end, like output rock guitar. It's very versatile though. You can get great Wes Montgomery, big fat George Benson sound with this guitar. You can get the distortion-y kind of Larry Carlton thing too. That's why I bought the guitar back in the 70s. I was reading the Guitar Player magazines. Loved the West Coast guitar sound, and I had the pleasure of living in LA for almost 11 years, and that was pretty recently, and got to hang in that lifestyle for a while, and it was great. Awesome. So anyway, this is going to run in conjunction with a show that I'm also going to be promoting soon and hope to tour, and I plan on touring. It's called Amazing Guitars Renaissance to Rock. So that'll be a stage show, and so as I travel around the country, I want to take this camera with me and my microphone and document some things. I read this book recently by Deke Dickerson. If you're not familiar with it, it's called The Strat in the Attic. It's crazy. stories. And Deke is a fascinating guy. I hope I get to meet him sometime. I think he lives in LA, and I never knew of him the whole time I was out there. So, and that's the way life works. You move away, and then you find out that you live near somebody that you really would have liked to have met. So hopefully I'll meet him at some point. That book is fascinating, gives me a lot of inspiration to do something like this. All right, so excellent. Thank you for joining me in this first week. I'm going to play a little bit of a track now on the way out that I composed a few years ago called Newbury Park. It comes from a collection of music called Waves of Soul that I put together, and it featured this guitar. So let me play a little bit of that on the way out. Have an excellent week, and we'll see you next Friday. If you have questions, just hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. We can have discussions and ideas for shows in the future. And I'd love to meet some of you as I travel and see your guitars and have your guitars on the show, and you. That'd be awesome. We're going to do interviews and all kinds of things. So welcome and have an excellent day. Thank you.